Hello, and welcome to the inaugural episode of YouthCast, brought to you by the Newtown School, Kolkata, a platform where we interact, engage, and learn from pioneers who are shaping the future, giving you an opportunity to learn from the leaders. I'm Avigna Purohit, and this is my co-host Raika Agarwal.
Today, we have with us here someone who's a true leader, someone who started young, becoming the youngest president of CREDAI Bengal. He is the brains behind Primarc and the founder of the famous bookstore chain Story. So get ready to be inspired. So, sir, our first question to you, and I think a lot of us would be very curious about this. Were you a mischievous kid?
Not at all.
No?
I was a very introvert as a child. Very scared of school and the teachers at school. And the teachers used to be petrified.
Not
We used
at
to
all.
be absolutely. That time the teachers, we had a cane at school. Teachers were free to use their hands. In fact, there were incidents when teachers slapped somebody, the specs went from the first bench to the last
Oh my
bench.
god.
So there was physical punishment. So we were really very petrified of teachers at school. All the teachers were 20, 30-year-old had already been in school during that time. We were really, and the cane was something which came out very often, kind of every day. Whether it was the class teacher, the principal, we were very afraid. So I was absolutely an introverted child, not at all mischievous. So I think that's not me.
So, what did you want to become when you were a child?
When you're a child and you have multiple emotions going through different phases in life, today morning you want to become a pilot, tomorrow in the evening you see some another movie, you want to be somebody else. But I always actually wanted to be a lawyer, that I couldn't become. I think career path went differently. But one thing I always knew that eventually as I moved, to be your age or, once I was say class 9 or 10 or something, I always knew I would do business. And my dad had a Raymond store, which was a very successful store at that point of time. But I always had that I'll do something of my own. I didn't want to stay in somebody's shadows, not out of any disrespect, but out of the entrepreneur. I would create something of my own. So that's how it went. And as life goes on now, you think something happens. So what started with kapada eventually became roti, eventually became kitab to become makan. So those things, life is all a journey, and you think something, but actually something very drastic happens.
That's a very realistic thought. So, sir, attending Harvard is a dream for most Indian students. So, how does it feel to have actually lived that dream?
So here actually I'll tell you something true that happened. I actually got into St. Stephen's and SRCC, and I was supposed to go to Delhi to do that. And my uncle came and he met my dad, and the only thing, I don't know what he told my dad, but what my dad told me is कि मामा जी बोले कि लड़का दिल्ली गया तो हाथ से गया. So that was the end of everything, and welcome to St. Xavier's College, 6 o'clock in the morning. I really wanted to do eco honors, but that time, because I had taken business maths, presidency did not have taken students who took business maths. So it welcomes St. Xavier's College, 6 o'clock in the morning. So, but learning has always been a very cornerstone of who I am and what I want to be. And it's been a very continuous effort to keep learning. So, it was long due that, I wanted to do something like that. In the middle, I went and did some short courses at IIM, ISB as well. So when this came, it was there to do it. I'll do it again, sometime again. So learning has been a way. So Harvard was one of those journeys. The biggest learning I, however, feel it comes from people, what I can learn from you and what you can learn from each other. So learning has been a very cornerstone of my journey. I really give it as much as time today also to learn from different things, whether it's watching something, reading something, and so on.
So, sir, what is one thing they should learn from us and one thing we should learn from them?
Who? Harvard?
Yes.
I think one thing that they can learn from us is jugaad. How we can get our things done. Whether as children, coaxing their parents, or us getting things around. We never give it away. That jugaad or mind to go outside, create our own path is very different. I think what we can learn from Harvard or institutions like this is the discipline that they bring in, the structure that they can bring in. And compared to the Indian way of education, the Harvard course is very open-minded. There are very less textbooks, there are more interactions, and the learning is more from each other rather than from a scripted text. So I think that is something that we can learn from them as to how much more we can learn from each other.
We all know that an educational institute plays a very important role in shaping us, in making us what we are. Sir, how important do you think is the role of a school in shaping an individual?
I think ancient times we used to have the Pathshala and then that Gurukul too, which is now a modern school. And it all about putting in the right values at the beginning when you start moving. Now people get into school at the age of 3, the toddler, and now 5, 6 years old. The initial values are very, very important, and that kind of shapes you. Also, when you're in a school of, say, I just heard this is a school which has 3,000 kids, you would have 50 children in a section, and you might be whoever, but when you are there in that class or that section, you are one of them. So it's a very grounding experience also. So I think that experience of grounding, that experience of humbling, that you are one of the rest, you're not anything big or large. Also, very, very good values of discipline, and you see how hard work pays, because when you're that, you're in school, only if you do hard work, you will succeed. If you don't do hard work, you'll not succeed. And that is no longer limited to education, whether you want to do racing, whether you want to do debating, whether you want to go out for an extracurricular, whether you want to be in music. So you can see, and you can yourself, when you have some peers within you whom you'll say, Arey, he doesn't do anything, he's like a failure, and you can see and you can judge. So I think it's a very, very humbling experience. It's a very, very important part of foundation. Strongly shapes you. It also starts you realize or distinguish between what is good, what is bad, and what is not so good.
How do you approach friendship? And what role do friends play? As you said that you're in a community when you're in school, you engage with a lot of people. So how does that one-to-one bond shape you?
See, friendship, each relation is different. My friendship with you versus my friendship with her might be totally, totally different.
Absolutely.
Each comes with their sense of expectation. But it's always very, very good to have friends whom you can confide, whom you can share. Because what is the biggest problem? The biggest problem today, when it's loneliness. And if people can't talk about their issues to another, the moment you speak about anything, whether it's your pain, whether it's something your dad has today told you, the moment you are able to talk about it to anybody, whether it's your mother or your father or people in school. So I think the biggest advantage of having good friends is the ability to confide and ability to talk. Because if it is your battle, you can only fight.
True.
But to have that safe space where you can talk to each other, you can share, and the other person can give you unbiased advice. That itself is the biggest advantage of any relationship, whether it's friendship, whether it's a peer-to-peer relationship, whether it's a boss and employee relationship. That ability to confide, that ability to talk your heart out without being judged. Okay, I think that's the biggest
I
advantage.
think you all relate to that, the viewers. So coming to hard work, as you mentioned, so while you were in Harvard, you would have balanced your business, your academics at Harvard, and the huge time difference. So how did you do that?
Actually, it was very easy. It made me realize something else. I used to be like, it was like school, na? You're busy from, say, 8 o'clock or till 6. So that's why I always said I have so much work. But when you went into Harvard, by the time you woke up, India was shut. So all the emails came at one go. You replied at one go, and you had no work. Because everything was finished by the time you woke up. I think when you woke up, it was 9 o'clock in India or 8 o'clock in India. So all the emails during the day had come. All the queries had to. One hour you finish. You suddenly realize, and it actually the bigger learning coming from Harvard was, what I was giving 6-7 hours a day could actually be done in an hour a day if you could create better discipline, if you became more organized as a person, if you were ready to make changes in your schedule, if you were ready to change the way you worked. So the biggest learning out of Harvard was that you're not so busy, and you can maneuver things, and your work can move without you, and a lot of those things it was not so difficult. It's much easier. And when you went to sleep at Harvard, India was just waking up. So it was pretty cool that way. The time difference worked greatly to your advantage.
That is very different to the answer we were expecting. We were expecting there was too much work,
I'm
and I was
so sorry, but it's not that way. Let's be honest.
Sir, I think discipline is one of the biggest principles you follow in life. What other principles are your?
That's a very question. I mean, very, lot of connotations and lot of context. So it has to be in a particular context.
Right.
So, but in life, largely what I really believe, and Amish Tripathi wrote in his book, there is my truth and there is your truth. There is no universal truth. So I really believe in diversity of views. I believe that he might be right and I might not be wrong, So that's my biggest one thing of giving space to people and being able to hear each and everybody without being able to judge them. and being fair and ethical in whatever I do. Also, over a period of time, there's a very, very hungry entrepreneur trying to do many things, It's like a sportsman wanting to be good at cricket also, football also, and tennis also. I realized, you need to focus on a couple of things to make that big. So that's been a realization. So now whatever I do, I give it my best shot, or I don't do it, or I say this is somebody being run by somebody else. I'm just a stakeholder. I'm just an advisor. So that clarity of roles in my mind, I think, has been tremendous in the last few years. But largely, again, to be able to hear people without judgment, to be able to respect other people's views, hard work has been a cornerstone or a pillar from day one. And if I do something, I'll put in my best. That's what me. And being very, very fair and ethical to the best of my ability.
Primarc plays a very important role in today's architectural real estate forum. What was it like for you stepping into Primarc? And what values guided you towards creating a legacy?
So firstly, when I stepped in, there was no Primarc. We created Primarc in 2013-14 when I started to do real estate. Real estate was a side business of the group. It is like hota na, your father, somebody will come, and we all small Marwadi community. Maima pisa laga rahe ho, tu bhi laga de. That is the logic, and businesses or investments got created. So it was just investments. So 2012-13, me and my brother were having a chat, and we saying what it's that we should do. Then he said, "Chalo, let's create something." In real estate only. That's how. So Primarc was not a legacy business. It was something that we created. But a lot of who I am got founded or influenced by the values that my father brought in. So the only one business rule he gave me, he said business has two rules. The first rule is that the customer is always right. And the second rule is the customer is wrong. Please apply rule number 1. So that is the first legacy he gave me, and he was a very, 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 very hard worker. So that also came into us, and the fair and ethical values that we saw, he never taught us. But when you are with a person 24/7 and you see how he deals with people, so that came in naturally. So with that is what we built Primarc, and that's how it all started. I think God has been kind. The journey has progressed well, and I'm sure the best is yet to come.
Definitely, sir.
So you've been in this industry for so long. Would you suggest the youth of today to consider real estate as a domain for their career path?
See, the real estate that we are seeing today, whether this business, what used to be promotory, is how people used to call it, has now become a business or an industry called real estate. It is 50 times the size of what it used to be, and this is going to be 20 times the size of what you're going to see. Today, everything that you see today, look at, it was just earlier building homes, G+3, 4 homes. Today it's building large condominium where you might be staying. You just mentioned you stay at one. It also includes hotels. It includes large IT parks. Even education to is part of the real estate industry. It includes warehousing. Day before we read Amazon has rented a 6 lakh square feet single warehouse in Kolkata 15 days back, which is bigger than Quest Mall. Okay, it includes shopping centers. It includes student housing. It includes paying guest accommodation. So there is so much happening. It includes fractional ownership, where a home in Goa is being brought by 20 people. 20 people own a single property, and each person is supposed to use it for 3 days in a year, and rest they rent out and even make money. So there is so much happening, and it's going to create so many opportunities. Whether it's in the construction side, whether it's on the design side, whether it's in the finance, whether it's in marketing, whether it's in law that you want to do. Real estate is one business which employs the poorest of the poor in terms of construction workers to the best of the white collared and blue collared. So it's a very, very good industry to be a part of. And if you like it, you do it. If you don't like it, you don't do it.
So if not as an entrepreneur, how can one enter this field?
You can join in as a professional in the subject. If you like marketing, you can join as a marketing manager. If you are in sales, you can join in as a sales manager. And and people in real estate are very well respected. So it's not that if you come here, you don't enjoy, you can't do anything else. Suppose you are in law, you can do corporate practice, you can even join real estate firm. If you are in marketing, you can even do real estate and then perhaps go to hotels, and vice versa, or join banking. So it's a very open, flexible option for people to choose from.
So most of us have been to Story. From the architecture, it's just wonderful,
Thank you so much.
to the extensive collection of books, and the events which the bookstore organizes. Sir, it's a bibliophile's wonder. One goes there and one is in awe. What is the story behind story?
The story behind story is actually crossword, you know, and you mentioned about the school and how it engaged, you know. So when we started CrossWord, that time CrossWord used to have a vision, and the vision was that we create a platform rather than a bookstore where people meet to be gravitated, to be informed, enlightened, and even entertained. So that was the story. And something about a crossword puzzle is always, when you do a crossword puzzle, it's a combination of learning and fun. For me, this business particularly has always been learning and fun. The story that you see today is very different from the story that used to exist. I have a role in the architecture of it, but now my wife Shambhavi, she runs the bookstore completely independently. But you know, it's books have always fascinated me because of the concept. It's a big learning, and even today, when I'm 2 hours with a book, actually I'm able to detach completely. In fact, there are moments when, say, I'm down or something. We used to have in the earlier story, there used to be a window point where I should just go take a book, sit for an hour or two, and have these green teas or coffees and just be with myself. So I think it's a big learning. And I think Oscar Wilde said something: "Who wants to be a cynic who knows the price of everything but the value of nothing?" You know. So I think they still add a lot of value to our lives. So that is something that motivates me as far as bookstores is concerned. And the story is just to provide a great. So now the whole thing is, whatever we do at Primark, whether it's bookstores, whether it's IT parks, can it be better or a notch above than the what people are used to? Can it create a wow in terms of experience? So that's what largely motivates the whole process.
Sir, you have been quoting a lot of poets, a lot of writers. Sir, do you consider writers your heroes?
No, I don't consider anybody my hero. My heroes are people whom I see in real time, lifetime, and I can see me, you know. And it's not one hero for anything. So I like Sachin Tendulkar for his perseverance. I like somebody for his hard work. I might like somebody for his brain. I might like somebody for his humility. I am not a at all a heroes person. It is the journey that interests me. Like I never have a fanboy moment, but recently I met Rishabh Pant entering the Taj Bengal Hotel, and I walked up to him and I said, "Ki boss, your turnaround or comeback has been a story that really motivates me. You must be aware, no? He had a major accident where he almost lost his life, and he was on a wheelchair or whatever for more than a year." And I told him, "Boss, that's so." So I'm not a heroes person. I'm a journeys person. I'm a stories person. If you do something exceptional, I might pick that up from you as well. So I'm very open as far as that is concerned.
Beautiful way to see life, sir.
Thank
Really
you.
encouraging.
So as you mentioned, you are an avid reader. So sir, can you please tell us a book that has had a profound impact on you?
See, it's been 45 years, okay? You keep reading. Each book has different impacts at different stages of life. But I think since you are mentioning some of the books, so I really love Dan Brown as a fiction writer. I really was immersed in his the way he created a narrative around mythology, and I think it was really catchy at that. But I think books that have really impacted some of Swami Vivekananda's writings. Also, to put it in recent times, I think Atomic Habits by James Clear is a book that is an all-time favorite. I would in fact advise all of you, whether it's your other children, and it's nothing to do with age. Each one of you to read Power of a Subconscious Mind, Habits of Effective People. So these are some of the books, but I think current favorite is Atomic Habits by far. That's a book I read every 2-3 years. I read it again.
So we have been trying to read pages, like go pages, like 2 pages a day, and then read the book.
It's a good way to do it. So certain books like Atomic Habits, even if you read 5 pages, have a notepad so that you can say what is it that you want to change, what is it that want to bring a change in you, or the way you're looking at things or the way you're doing it. It's a great book. I think if we can even adopt 10% of it, we'll all be better people.
So both of us are not very avid readers. So how would you suggest us to start reading?
Don't try. If you're not avid reader, don't try. Now you do what works for you.
Right.
See, each person is different. Why do you want? If your reading is not interesting to you, don't read. You read articles. You watch podcasts. You watch videos. You do what works for you. Now there is. If every reading worked for everybody, then we would have a billionaire doing story. Now it doesn't work that way.
Right.
So it's okay. Whatever works for you, works for you.
That makes us feel a lot better.
Should feel better.
As the youngest president of CREDAI Bengal, what were some of the key initiatives you undertook to drive growth and development in the region? And was the role challenging for you?
See, the role was very challenging. Firstly, though, it came out of nowhere because my immediate predecessor was 20 years elder to me. So it was like a 40-year-old doing 60. So I think the biggest challenge for me, more than creating impact, which became secondary, was to be first acceptable and to be looked with respect and to be looked at, because most of the people in this business today, or even my competition, are largely run by people who are 15-20 years older to me. So for them to accept, for them to reach out to me, say, "Arey, ye bachcha kya janta main isko," so that is the feeling which a lot of our families and those have. So I think the first challenge was to be acceptable. Once that was largely done, was to be as honest as possible, whether it's talking to a member or talking to the government or talking to other stakeholders or media. And third, what I tried to do was bring the community together, our own builders community together by doing, we always met, but we never met socially so much. So why can't we have our own events? Why can't we do our own Diwali nights or Holi nights? So those are things. Biggest challenge was to be first accepted, because all the other people in that were all much senior, so that was the biggest challenge then.
The experience they had.
Yeah, obviously.
To fill the shoes of the...
I was nowhere, I've been 8-9 years into the industry, and suddenly, it's out of nowhere.
So community solidarity has been a very big pointer for you. As you have said that we have to enrich our communities. So how important do you think communities are for an individual?
See, again, this is a very personal, individual to individual question. Say at CREDAI, it was important that the builder community came together so that we were unanimous in presenting our views to the government or the media, or to understand what were the issues that were bothering us to do it. When we're building homes, it is very important that, it does not stay brick and mortar where, both of you are neighbors, but you hardly know each other. How can we create spaces, where you can tell her, hey, let's grab a coffee together, or let's meet once together, or how do these communities come together to celebrate? When we are doing our own office space, the intent is how that community interacts with each other. If we are doing the bookstore, it is how a book lover enjoys that space as a community of book lovers. So it's very, very related to what you are building and with what purpose. That design of space and communities change totally.
Absolutely.
So I feel that everyone always has that one thing they've always wanted to do. So do you have any passion project which you haven't done yet but want to?
It's not like that, but I've always, I did my first shopping mall. I finished it when I was, I think, 30 or 31. So I started in Junction, Durgapur, and when I was 26, 27, and I finished it when I was 30, 31. Since then, I've been wanting to build another mall, a bigger or a better mall. And as a kid, I really looked up to South City as an inspiration. I really wanted to do that kind of mall. We are very soon going to start that process in a city called Bhopal. So I'm really, really looking forward to that, as to how that goes. But yeah, that's something that I'm really motivated towards at this moment.
So we wish you good luck, and we'll
Thank
definitely come visit.
If you ever go to Bhopal.
Yeah, we'll ask your madam to organize a trip
Yes,
for students to Bhopal.
That would be absolutely wonderful.
Sure, absolutely.
And we'll say we have...
The only thing, you might be in college that time. So we'll have to see.
So don't worry, we'll find out.
We'll remember, sir.
Sure.
So you are here today in front of us, and you have such inspiring ideals, such values. What is one thing you would say to your 18-year-old self?
I think it's okay to make mistakes. Normally, we all make mistakes. And I think when we make mistakes, we become very harsh to ourselves. We challenge our own existence, we challenge our own competence. We think, and we don't have people to go and talk to, or I made this mistake. But I think one thing, it's okay to make mistakes. I think that's something which I would want to say to a 18-year-old self.
So on a lighter note, which is your favorite street food in Kolkata?
I'm a lover of all the street food. Whether you call the Russell Street samosas,
Oh my god.
or the puchkas, or the moody. I think I grew up on street food.
So you have to name one.
I said name too. I said
One favorite.
One favorite. on
So
signature.
I love the samosas at Russell Street.
The nimki they have and the
Yeah,
tea.
you said
oh
one
my
thing, so
God.
I said one
Right.
thing.
So finally, we would like to know, so what is your life's mantra?
I think I mentioned one of the quotes that Amish, there is my truth, there is your truth, there is no universal truth. I just want to add two more pointers to it. One is Jio or Jeene Do. You live your life, let me live my life.
life.
And I think if ever I write a book, the title will be The Best Is Yet to Come. So I'm a very, very positive person. And my only suggestion to people is keep positivity around you. Don't get influenced by all the negative energy and the negative news that we hear or see everything. So I think it's largely Jio or Jeene Do. You live your life, let me live my life. I think that's how I would want to subscribe that to.
So anything you want to say to the Gen Z people out there, the youth of today?
I think I've said enough. Why don't you say what is your life mantra? I
Same.
think they look up more to you than to me.
Jio or Jeene Do.
Jio or Jeene Do.
Jio or Jeene Do.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much, viewers. I think the session was as enjoyable for you as it was for us.
If this video made an impact in your life, if you learned something new,
Then don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank
thank
you.
you.